So you've been looking at this for about, what,
That's
an hour?
right, an hour, hour and a half,
What
maybe,
do you
yeah.
think so far?
So it's very impressive hardware. It's very beautiful. They've done a great job with build quality and the overall feel. And the screen is the main thing. It's 2560 by 1700 pixels, which puts it in the same class as, say, a Retina display on a MacBook. And it's just beautiful. And of course, it's also a touchscreen.
So is it worth it, though? I mean, obviously, the MacBook Pro is tried and true.
That's right, and you can get a Retina MacBook Pro for I think just $200 more, or you could get a standard MacBook Pro for $100 less. So it's a really tough call that you'd want to spend this much. You'd have to really believe in Google's vision of cloud computing, and I just don't think a lot of people do.
So why? Why is Google doing this?
I think Google has a lot of confidence that moving everything into the cloud is the future, and that's what everything is going to be eventually. And I think they just honestly believe that the best way to get people there is to start building computers that do that now.
Obviously now, they're really perpetuating two completely different operating systems, Chrome and Android. Why does that make sense?
I don't know that it does, actually. Android makes really good sense for phones. They've obviously had a lot of success there. They haven't had a ton of success with Android on tablets, although the Nexus 7 has done pretty well. I think that Chrome OS is a simpler OS for just doing basic web stuff, and it doesn't have a lot of the extra bells and whistles that are on Android. And so I think that for them, they have part of the company that believes in the web, and then part of the company that sort of got lucky with Android, and they just need to eventually bring the two together, but it seems a ways off.
But wait, could this be a huge mistake? I mean, they've got two completely different operating systems out there. They're competing with themselves.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, so far they've managed to not have two exact devices in the same class, so there's not a Chrome OS tablet, and there aren't very many Android laptops, none at all that really matter. And so far they've managed to keep them separate, but it seems like it's only a matter of time until they end up competing directly.
I've talked to investors who've been very critical of Android. Roger McNamee of Elevation Partners has said, it's crap. They should scrap it and start over. Is this an effort to start over?
I don't think so. It's possible that we could see them try and move Android in this direction into having more of Chrome OS's features and being more Chrome-centric. But I think that Android is too successful for them to do anything that extreme.
Where is the world going now? Now we're seeing Apple, Google, and Microsoft competing in both hardware and software.
I think that Google's right that things are moving into the cloud and very quickly. I just don't think they're quite there yet. And it's an interesting, crazy world where both Microsoft and Google are making their own hardware. It'll be interesting to see if they're successful with it. So far, I'm not sure.
So obviously, this is a long-term bet.
Yeah.
I mean, 5 years from now, where does Google think the world's going to be?
5 years from now, Google thinks that the world's going to be right here in a device like this. And if they're lucky, that'll happen. But I think it's much more likely that it's not going to look that much different from where we are now.
How does HP and the other hardware makers play into this? We know that Microsoft just made a big investment in Dell. There's been talk of HP potentially wanting to cozy up to a company like Google.
I think that the best thing that they could do right now is just make really compelling laptops. I think that with the release of Windows 8 and, of course, the Microsoft Surface, we have yet to see a single piece of hardware that makes everybody go, wow, I must have that. And they just need to simply execute on their hardware.